and it is my great pleasure to invite our final speaker, Will Evans, CEO of the NTCA, to come and make some closing remarks. Will's obviously been a driving force behind the NTCA's success in recent years, and his leadership has been instrumental in shaping the direction of the industry. 2022-23 has not been without its challenges. With biosecurity threats on our doorstep, as we've heard, there's been very little time to reflect and relax. Please welcome Will to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm just seeing people head to the door. I won't take it personally. Since being with the NTCA, this is my third closing address for the conference, and I do appreciate you all who are remaining here. I don't blame those who left earlier. It's a very long day, and I'm very grateful for those who hung around. Probably a few things I'll just start off with. I thought DC's speech this morning was exceptional, and I'd just like to ask for a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rare thing anywhere, I think, to work for someone who's got the courage to say the things that David says. Sometimes I would say probably too much courage, but today I think he hit it right on the head, and I think this is a second in a series of terrific presentations on behalf of the membership, DC, and I can say it's honestly a privilege to be a part of an organisation that is willing to do those things, so thank you. I thought Jacinta Price was exceptional. I've got to say that was one of the better presentations I think I've ever seen from a politician, and contrasting that with some of the speeches we heard this morning, I think we're very lucky to have an advocate on behalf of the Northern Territory of such exceptional quality speaking for us in Canberra. So I really thought there were some amazing highlights today. I've got to admit, I don't think I saw any other speakers other than those two. So I guess Angus was terrific as always, and Rabo's sponsorship and support for this event, it's just been outstanding and over the years, and I extend sincere thanks to them. Now, this is the part of my speech that I do every year where I normally thank the staff for being here, and 3/4 of the staff aren't here because they're getting their hair and makeup done. Romy, actually, I was going to make a special thank you to Romy, but she just told me, and this is a direct quote, "This is why I have you, so that I can go get my hair and makeup done and don't have to do the closing remarks." So, thank you, Romy. Yes, I thought everyone would like that one. Look, if it takes a village to organise an event like this, I think we really have multiple towns. The ladies' lunch would not have happened without the support of the ladies' branch committee, and from what I hear, it was exceptional. Each year we seem to, all of the events that we have around the conference really go from strength to strength to strength, and I'd like to say thank you very much to those who did volunteer their time. It is a huge commitment that the members undertake to contribute to the development and the growth of this event every single year. So I would like to first and foremost thank the members who've contributed so much to making this event the way it is. Sorry, excuse me, I'll ask for a round of applause, please. Despite the harsh words from Romy, I thought I'd better thank the staff as well. Look, this is something that we begin planning about mid-year. So we've been working on this for well, when I say we, Romy and some of her staff have been working on this since August last year, and this year the theme was provided from one of the executive members. It's very much a grassroots event. We take a lot of input and guidance on what sort of speakers we should have, who we should be asking to come and provide or share their time and their knowledge with our membership. It's very much a collective effort, but at the end of the day, someone actually has to make it all happen, and Romy and Em and Isabel and Shannon and all of the guys in the office put in an extraordinary amount of work into this. So I would like to ask for a round of applause for them too, please. I left the boys out of that. Alex is our new environmental liaison officer. He's only been with us for a few weeks. If anyone's confused about who Alex is, he's got a moustache and he's got a shirt on that looks like this. There is no other person with a moustache with a shirt on like this. That's Alex. Alex did ask me the other day, he said, "Will, I'm not sure if what I'm meant to be doing during the conference." I said, "Don't worry, you will be told." And he said, "Well, I'm not sure if I'm utilising my time very well." said, what do you mean? He said, well, today I had to go out and pull over on the side of the road and cut branches out of bushes because we needed them for table settings for the ladies' lunch. And I said, no, that's a perfect utilisation of your time, mate. Really well done. I'm glad that wasn't me. Look, he's new. He's come to us from Ward Keller. I would ask if you do get the chance to see him, do introduce yourself. He's very excited to be working for us. This is the bit where I've lost the rest of my speech. Look, I think I'll finish with this because I've got a couple of minutes left and I do want to let everyone go to the bar. Probably the biggest part of my job and the job of the NTCA, and certainly for guys like Dan and Alex and Isabel and myself, is we read. And that sounds pretty easy, right? But we do an extraordinary amount of reading. I read tens of thousands of pages of documents every single year. I had a funny list of all of the sort of ridiculous government reports I've read in the last 12 months, but I left that at home. So you'll just have to trust me that I have to spend an enormous amount of time trying to consume as much information I can about the enormous array of issues that our industry has to deal with. And it's not until you're in a position like this or you're given the opportunity to work for an organisation like the NTCA that you truly, truly understand the extent of the issues that our industry has to deal with. And I think it's very easy, and the past president's panel did speak about this, it's easy to think that we just grow cattle. And to be honest, I have an analogy that I use with journalists, and I say, what we try to do is turn grass into steak, and that works every time. They understand it then. But the complexity of everyone's businesses and the complexity of the ways in which regulations and law and policy and the application of that affects us is astonishing. And it's not until you really understand the industry that you realise the importance of organisations like the NTCA. I've got a quote that I just wanted to read out, and it's a quote that I think about quite often, and it's one of those amazing things where you read something, you think you know how you're meant to say it, and you never actually have to say it out loud. It's in Latin. This is a bit ambitious for someone who studied agribusiness, so you're just going to have to bear with me. I apologise. The quote is, "Aventavit asinus pulcher et fortissimus." Now, that is wrong. I've got no doubt that's wrong. That's not the way you're meant to say that. But, translated, what it means is the arse arrives noble and most brave. And when I do public speaking, I often think about that quote, and I don't refer to myself as the arse in that equation. What's it's in reference to? It comes from, that's my board laughing at me. What that comes back to, it's a quote from a philosopher, and he talks about a moment when you're reading new philosophy or you're reading a new idea or you're reading about a new concept, and you can tell where the traditional knowledge deviates and the new idea emerges. And that's the moment where you should always remind yourself as a philosopher, or in his analogy, a philosopher, but anybody, you should remind yourself that a new idea is potentially not a great idea. And just because it's something that hasn't been done before doesn't mean you should do it. And the way that this person suggests you should determine, are you an arse arriving noble and most brave, or are you not, is to ask, is to talk, is to go and ask reliable people who know more about a subject matter than you do and get them to verify it. Because the only way that you're not going to appear to be a donkey arriving on stage and saying things out loud, like I fear I may be doing now, is to talk to people who know better. And one of the things about working for the NTCA is that the beef industry, you can learn the beef industry. You can go to university, you can study, you can learn basically this is how we grow grass and this is how we convert these things into one thing and turn it into another. You can pick that up and you can think that you understand it. But without having members, without having an executive committee that gives me the advice that gives me, without having people like Tracy and Luke to be able to call and ask questions like anything, without having branch committee meetings and engagement and having these opportunities to verify these things, my job's impossible. You can't do it. It's simply not possible to be able to adequately represent the industry without talking to the people on the ground and saying to them, this is my new idea, do you think it's a good idea? And them saying, no, you're an idiot, you should definitely not do that, which is quite often what my executive tells me. Or they say, no, that is a good idea, you should definitely go do that. So I guess my long-winded speech has gotten to the point of remembering something that David said this morning. One of the most valuable things is the brutality of our shared honesty. It's critical to know the truth, and if people aren't willing to tell you that, you're never going to be able to move forward. You're never going to be able to progress anything. And one of the pleasures that I have is working for you all, is that is a practice that is very common in our industry. Tom sends me emails all the time with his brutal honesty, which I very much appreciate. If the NTCA proves one thing above all, and David said this again this morning, it is that in conflict you so often see the best version of yourself. And I couldn't agree with that more. But I think it's in friendship that you truly get to celebrate those things together. And working for the NTCA is always about conflict. It's a hard job. But being with you all here, about to walk outside at the end of my speech and go and enjoy a cold beer, it's in friendship that I really look forward to celebrating this evening with you. And I thank you all for being here today.